Good afternoon, Rabbi. Recently, we received an email regarding a certain teaching of a certain rabbi who lives in Brooklyn. And this rabbi, we've heard from him before, a couple of years ago. He was the one who said that it's allowed to go to a place where they're dancing over there, men and women together, mixed dancing. And he says you're allowed to go and sit there and enjoy the party. So from there, we already suspected that this rabbi, he doesn't learn so well. He doesn't know how to rule in matters of halacha, and he's a little bit modern on the modern side. So now he sent us another teaching, which also seems to be also quite distorted. And now give us double trouble. One more problematic issue that he gave us. What was this issue? He brings as a source from Moreinu Rabbeinu Maran Rabbi Shalom in his book Yechav Chelek Vav Siman Yud Aleph. Over there, he talks about the issue of some people who are sitting in the Bet HaMidrash. They're sitting in the yeshiva. Some rabbis, some talmidim, some students, and they're learning Torah all night or whatever it is, and now they're bringing to them once every hour or two some drinks, some more drinks, coffee, tea, and so forth and so on, to keep them refreshed, to keep them awake. So what they do is they drink all night like that. They go until the morning, they study until the morning. So says the rabbi over there, Rabbi Shalom, Maran Ovadia, that if they do that and this person stays in the Bet HaMidrash, doesn't leave the Bet HaMidrash, so what happens is that he doesn't have to make a new bracha, a new blessing for each time they bring coffee and tea, or drinks or refreshments and so forth and so on. So what does that mean? He brings the source for this halacha is the Rambam. The Rambam says that if a person makes a blessing and he's staying put in one place, one room, whatever, one house, whatever it is, he doesn't have to make a new blessing every time, as long as he didn't have the kavanah. His intention was not to only drink this time and then stop. If his intention was also to include whatever's going to come in the future, or his intention was stam, for no particular intention. So what happens is that in a case like that, the Rambam says that he didn't have his intention just to stop eating now, but also whatever else subsequently will come, he also wants to include that as well. If he stays there in that room, in that house, whatever it is, in that place where he is, in yeshiva, Bet HaMidrash, so what happens is that he doesn't have to make a new bracha every time. Why is that? Because he's not changing his place, and so therefore, even though he's waiting the time that it takes to digest food, 72 minutes, doesn't matter, no matter what, that doesn't make any difference. So says the Rambam that he can make one bracha and rely on that, and go on all night like that. So the rabbi learns from there, also for our situation, that we do, all night learning, like on the night of Shavuot, the night of Hoshana Rabbah, we do all night learning. So therefore a person can sit there and drink all night on one bracha, on one blessing. So comes this modern rabbi, and he tries to make some chilukim, some differentiations over here, some qualifications regarding this halacha, that the rabbi, Rabbi Shalom Maran, Ravadia, he never meant these qualifications. First of all, he says that it only applies to hot drinks. If you're drinking cold drinks, which you drink quickly, so there's an obligation to make also a bracha achrona, a final blessing. So he says, since you're making the final bracha as well, once you drink a revi'it, quickly, right, in a couple of seconds you drink it, so what happens is that now you have to make a bracha achrona. So therefore comes this rabbi and says, according to Maran Al-Vadi Al-Bashalom, you would have to make a new bracha now, even though they're drinking more drinks afterwards, because he made a bracha achrona, he made a final blessing. So the truth is that the rabbi doesn't write like that. And if you look at the Tshuva Yechav, and also he subsequently goes over this again, repeats this in his Chazon Ovadia, Chelek Brachot, which was written recently, only several years ago, before the rabbi passed away, Rabbi Shalom. So over there he reiterates the whole thing again, like he wrote in Yechav, the whole thing. What does that mean? That he says that even if they bring something which requires a bracha achrona, even though some rabbis would say in a case like that a person should make another blessing now, because he already, by making a bracha achrona, a final blessing, that means that he signaled that he doesn't want to drink anymore. That's it, he's done with it. So now he has to make a new bracha next time something else comes, something else is served later on. So the truth is that the rabbi doesn't say like that. He says that even if it's something like that which requires a bracha achrona, like cold drinks or even snacks, some fruits, melons, whatever it is, anything like that they bring. So the rabbi says that even though there is also differing in opinion, which would say in a case like that you should make a new bracha, but nevertheless he also brings a source there, a Sefer Meorei Or, who says that you don't have to. And the reason is because when a person makes a bracha acharona, doesn't necessarily mean that he wants to stop drinking. That just means that he wants to now fulfill his obligation for making a bracha acharona for whatever he drank now. He doesn't want to forget it and do it. Maybe he won't be able to do it later on. Maybe he'll forget. Maybe he'll lose the mitzvah. So therefore he wants to do it. That doesn't necessarily mean that he means to stop drinking all night now or all throughout the whole day, whatever that he's sitting in that room. So therefore the truth is the rabbi rules. If you look at carefully at the wording over there in the Tshuva and also in the Chazon Ovadia, he rules over there that even in a case like that, where he has to make a bracha chorna, he still has to keep going with one bracha. He doesn't have to make a new bracha. Why is that? Because, as we said, there's a source for that says that clearly, and also he brings other poskim, the Magen Avraham and other poskim to support this theory as well. And also he says, even if you tell me that it's a safek, it's a doubt between this authority and that authority, whatever it is, it's safek brachot le'akil, right? So the rule is that we don't bless in cases of doubt. So therefore the rabbi says, bottom line is that even if something which requires a bracha chorna, you still don't have to make a new blessing. That's his psak halacha. That's the way he writes in Yechavadat. That's the way he writes it in Chazon Ovadia. And comes this modern rabbi and tries to change it and tries to alter it. That's not what the rabbi said. Also another thing which he got mistakenly apparently, which was that they said that if a person is staying in one building, as long as he doesn't leave the building, he says, he doesn't have to make a new blessing. So the truth is, the rabbi doesn't exactly say like that. What he says is that once he leaves the Bet HaMidrash, once he leaves the sanctuary where he's praying over there, or the place where they study, the Bet HaMidrash, the synagogue, once he goes out the doors of the synagogue, right, he says that he has to make a new blessing because it's a Shinui Makom, and he brings as a source the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Kuf Ein Chet. And over there, the Shulchan Aruch is clearly talking about even if you change one room to another. So what does that mean? According to the Shulchan Aruch that he cites over there, if you change from one room to another, even though you're in the same building, all the more so if you went to a different floor, right, second floor, third floor, for sure, in that case, everybody would agree that you have to make a new bracha. So what does that mean? That this is not exactly accurate, that he says as long as you're in the same building, you don't have to make a new blessing. Also, the rabbi says in Halichot Olam, over there he writes, and as well as Yakut Yosef, we find also written that if a person changes his location from one room to another, he goes to the bathroom. The bathroom was a different room. So once he comes back, it says in Halichot Olam, it says in Yakut Yosef that he has to make a new blessing now. What does that mean? That he cannot rely. We cannot rely on the fact that he made the blessing before, because he went to a place, to the bathroom, where he can't eat over there. It's not allowed to eat there. So therefore, since it's a place where you're not allowed to eat, it's called hefsek, it's called interruption, and therefore you should make a new bracha. So this is also kind of a mistake over here, what he said regarding this, that as long as he's in the same building all the time. It's not really depending on the building, it depends on being, first of all, in the same room, number one. According to Maran, according to Rambam, this is the way it is. The Rambam is the source for this halakha. So according to Rambam, according to Maran, Shulchan Aruch, in Kuf Ein Chet, Siman Kuf Ein Chet, he says over there, when you go from one room to another, like it's explained in the Magen Avraham, that's called going from one house to another. So therefore, you have to make a new bracha. So therefore, this is also not accurate. So there's several inaccuracies that this modern rabbi told in this email that he passed over to people, that he forwarded to people, whatever it is. Therefore, Rabotai, the bottom line is like this. Number one, first of all, whatever this rabbi told people in his lecture, that you're allowed to go and sit somewhere where there's mixed dancing over there. This is for sure not the case. It's a very big mistake, and it's causing people to sin. God forbid that he tells people like this, because we find in the books many Sfarim, in the Chidah. The Chidah writes about the severity of mixed dancing, how forbidden it is, and it's also written in the Ben Ish Chai, we also find, and also in the Stei Chemed, they also write just to sit there and to watch also is prohibited. So therefore, they're not saying it's a chasidut, this is halacha. So therefore, he's coming and telling us. Also, we find in Yakut Yosef as well, in the Chelek Sovas Machot, Chelek Aleph, he says over there as well that it's not allowed to be in a place where there's mixed dancing over there. And so therefore we have several sources to tell you that even though you're not dancing with them, the fact that you're there is already a prohibition. You're going over prohibition. What prohibition is there? You're going and having hirhurim. It's going to give you bad thoughts. It's going to awaken the Yetzer Hara in you when you watch these things. So therefore, right, it's no different than watching a dirty movie or some kind of going to a place where there's some right, profanity or dirty things going on in a theater or something like that. Just like you're not allowed to go there, also here you're not allowed to go. What difference does it make? If you're telling me that you're allowed to do this, so that means you're also allowed to watch all kinds of dirty things, the movies and all kinds of things like this, pictures. That would be the same thing, because it's going to bring you to hirhurim, it's bringing you to bad thoughts. It's going to bring a person to awaken his Yetzer Hara. The Shulchan Aruch even says about this in Hilchot Shabbat, that a person, because of that, he's not allowed to read these romantic novels, about romance, and this guy falls in love with this girl, and so forth and so on. Why is that? Because he's waking the Yetzer Hara inside himself. So you see from there that anything that a person does to awaken the Yetzer Hara, to make and to make a person have hirhurim, to have bad thoughts, he's not allowed to do these things. This is halacha. This is not chassidut. So this rabbi is coming and telling people that you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to be there and watch them dancing. What kind of thing is this? It's against the poskim. It's against all the Gedolei Israel that forbade this kind of thing. We never heard any big rabbi, any big chacham to matir to permit such a thing. So therefore, Rabbi, that's number one. Number two, what he said regarding this issue about drinking in one place, right? We have to qualify, right? It doesn't always apply like that. It only applies when you don't leave the Bet HaMidrash, when you don't leave the synagogue that you're sitting in. Once you leave that area, you cannot rely on that, especially if you go to the bathroom, or if you go outside, or if you go to a different floor as well. You cannot come back and rely on that bracha again. It's written in the poskim like that. It's written in the Shulchan Aruch very clearly. And even though there are some achronim that brought that in our times we can say that the whole house, the whole apartment is considered to be like one domain. It's written in the Mishnah Berurah, it's written in the Biur Halacha, it's written in the Aruch HaShulchan. But in this case particularly, since we have also other issues involved with that, I don't think we can really rely on such a thing like this and to say that we can just come back, and rely on one bracha all night, keep going in and out of that room. The rabbi says Meforash, the Maran or the Rabbi Shalom, he says explicitly that once you leave the walls, the door of the yeshiva, once you leave the door of the synagogue, you're not allowed to rely on that blessing again. So that's one thing. Also, the differentiation that he tried to make between food and drinks and hot drinks and cold drinks, according to the Rambam, which is the source for the halakha, it's not true. Why? Because the Rambam is talking about both. He's talking about food, he's talking about drinks. So if you want to learn this from the Rambam, which is the source for the halakha, that you can stay in one place and rely on one blessing all night or whatever, all the while that you're there, you have to say that there's no differentiation between food and drinks, because this is what the Rambam is saying. This is the source of the halakha. So just to set things straight. So what does that mean? That when can we say that a person can rely on one blessing and keep drinking and eating and like that, when he's staying in one place, staying put over there, and not leaving there, not going to the bathroom, not going to a different floor, not going outside, right? All these kinds of things. If he's like that, he can rely on one bracha. But once he leaves and comes in, goes out, this and that already cancels his bracha, and he has to make a new bracha. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen ve'amen. Chazak u'baruch. You should be blessed.